Welcome, Negronis with Nord, episode number 19. You might say, James, you aren't drinking a Negroni. That is true. I am drinking a actually very lovely bourbon sent to me from Chris Keaton. Look, I've been asking y'all to send me booze. Chris answered the call, sent this through. I appreciate it. We're going old school. This is like a James throwback, drinking bourbon and doing this. And the bourbon's spicy, and maybe we'll get a little spicy today. We just had our black tie party recently. We haven't had it in 2 years. Fantastic having 200 clients, influencers, our staff together in black tie. I got a new tuxedo made, moving me into the Fohr Tuxedo Club, which is a very exclusive group. It's not like it's difficult to get into it. You just have to pay for it. But I got a beautiful white dinner jacket. Of course, I woke up the next morning and both arms were covered in foundation from hugging people all night. So seems like it's going to be a dry clean it every time you use it. But it was lovely to have everyone together again, get out on the dance floor. Look, I was concerned we were gonna have a little bit of a super spreader, but I think all signs point to the fact that we were safe, it was all good, and nobody got COVID at our party. So double win there. As y'all know, Tim, after 6 years of working at Fohr, has moved on to pursue other opportunities. We are obviously still doing the show. Tim wasn't the one sitting behind the desk, he was sitting behind the camera. We now have Haley, who is running her first episode ever end to end. So as you sit at your computer, give Haley a round of applause because she didn't sign up to be the cameraman for this show, but here she is. We are going to just jump into this and keep it pretty actionable today. I don't have any rants or editorials or things that I'm especially upset about. I'm not going to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard because I didn't really pay attention to it, and I think it was a fairly toxic, meaningless, shitty part. I'm not going to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but we did get a question. Someone said they're curious if we could touch on key marketing points, moments for brands year to year. That way, as creators, we'll know to pitch a little more and potentially expect more partnerships. One, I love when we get questions about pitching because almost nobody pitches. We talk to brands about this all the time, and I'm always shocked how little thoughtful inbound, okay? I'm gonna caveat thoughtful inbound they get from influencers. DMing a brand saying collab question mark, that is not pitching them, okay? That I don't think has ever worked. It will not work. Never do that. Thoughtful pitches are something that brands don't get. It is an easy way to differentiate yourself. And here we live by this kind of mantra for, we tell our clients, don't spend good money on fake love, right? The best partnerships that we have done are always the ones that the creators are the most passionate about. It's what makes Sephora Squad so great, is that we get tens of thousands of applications. We get to pick the people who are the most passionate, most crazed, most into Sephora to be part of the squad, and that makes the partnership and the sponsored posts and everything they do just better. And it's a lot more fun for everyone. So brands absolutely want to work with people that love their brand. It is always better if we can work with somebody that is an existing customer and is somebody that loves the brand. So it's something that the industry wants. As a brand, they're not getting many influencers pitching them. One of the things that I think is misunderstood and so interesting is that any brand you want to work with, think of your dream brand, the dream partnership. You getting that partnership is like one person, right? So we think of these companies as these huge organizations, and they are. Sephora, for instance, has tens of thousands of employees, but they have a team of 10 that runs influencer marketing. Every brand is like that. What is standing between you working with them is generally just connecting with one person. And if you think about it that way, it becomes much less intimidating. Nike as an organization is this huge monolith, and it's intimidating, and little old me, what could I do with Nike? But you could go to LinkedIn and let's say it's Nike Running, and you find the person that is doing influencer marketing at Nike Running. If you can't find that, go to PR or general like marketing and just send them a message. Ideally not on LinkedIn because those don't work as well. I just find that getting into the email is better. Another way to get those contacts is you've got a crew of influencers that you know. If your friend just worked with Nike and you want to work with Nike, just ask them. Say, hey, could you introduce me is best, right? Because that's going to get a response. If they're not willing to introduce you, then just ask them for that email address. When you go to pitch a brand, the best thing you can do is show that you've worked with them before. We just did a mental health webinar with Jess Kirby, and I love the story that Jess, had wanted to work with Barber for years. When she went to pitch them, she actually used a tool on our site. So you can pull these reports that you can send to brands that will pull in every time you've mentioned a certain brand or word. So she sent a note to Barber, this report of 30 posts that she had tagged them in over the last few years, right? For a brand, what an incredible thing to see that, again, this person is already talking about us, they're already a customer, their audience is already familiar with the brand. It's literally a dream scenario. So the best thing you can do is send examples of when you've talked about the brand in the past. It doesn't have to be pulled into a specific report. You could just, send them a link to one post if that's all you have. But just show that you're already invested in the relationship, that you have some skin in the game. The question was specifically about cultural events, right? Holiday, back to school, Mother's Day, Father's Day. There are a number of kind of tentpole moments in any brand's marketing calendar. If you're pitching around those events specifically, I think it's good to understand just how far out these things are planned. I would say our average sales cycle at Fohr is about 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. So a brand will reach out saying, hey, we're interested in potentially working with you on a campaign. 6 to 8 weeks later, we'll close that campaign. 4 to 8 weeks after that, we'll have content go live, generally. All right, so you're talking about at least 3 months before a post goes live is when a brand is really thinking about it and allocating budget. I would say you want to reach out at least 3 months, if not more like 4 to 6 months in advance. These budgets are set early. I would start thinking about pitching holiday now. I'd say it's a little early now, but I would start thinking about it, and I would probably send that out in August. I would say we close most of our holiday deals in September, October at the latest. So it's probably a little earlier than you are thinking, but it's good to map that out and think about your year. If you want to go to Coachella and you want Lacoste to pay for it, then 6 months before Coachella, have that on your calendar, right? If you really want to work with Amazon for holiday, then make sure that August, September, you've got that pitch ready. In closing, a few things about pitching. 1, not enough people do it. 2, because not many people do it, by doing it, you're going to absolutely set yourself apart and make an impact. 3, the brand you want to work with is just a person. It's just a person at that brand that you need to convince that you are the best person to work with and that your idea is the one that they should be doing. 4, if you can prove that you're invested in the partnership by sending past posts or proving your affinity and love for the brand, if you're already a customer, showing that is incredibly helpful. And 5, make sure you are working within the corporate structure. Pitch 4 to 6 months ahead of the date if you want to make sure that you can allocate some of that budget towards your idea. I think understanding those 5 things will really help you in pitching brands. If you have any other questions on how to pitch or anything else, please ask us. As always, we don't do these videos for our health, we do them for you. So please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. Ask questions in the comments, send a note on our Instagram, or email haley@fohr.co. As always, and we will answer your questions. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.